Hey there. So it's Kathy Howes with Be Creative with Kathy. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator right here in Denver, Colorado. And I have a video today about Paper Pumpkin, the December 2020 Paper Pumpkin Kit. But first I'd like to do a little bit of business. So as most of you know, at least I hope you know, that the mini catalog and the celebration catalog go into effect tomorrow, which is January 5th. And really it could be tonight at midnight that they go into effect, which would really be tomorrow morning at midnight. But anyway, just so you know, the two catalogs go into effect tomorrow. And now Stampin' Up! Has already said that there's stuff in this catalog that has been was outperforming what they thought, so it might go on a back order list. So if there's stuff in this catalog that you are dying to have, it's on your wish list, I gotta have it, I suggest you get it now. And now I can't share that information with you yet, but if you check back on my blog tomorrow, and my blog is Be Creative with Kathy, I'll have that information on my blog tomorrow, like I said, January 5th. If you don't have these catalogs, let me know and I'll be sure and get you one. Although tomorrow you could see the catalogs on my online store and probably on my blog. We'll see how soon I can get them onto my blog. But they'll be on my online store, which is kathyhowes.stampinup.net, effective tomorrow. There you go. And then, so with January's Paper Pumpkin, now today we're going over December's, but if you want January's Paper Pumpkin, you have to subscribe by January 10th, and they have an add-on to this month's paper, or to January's Paper Pumpkin. And it's little boxes and these little die cuts. Let me see if I can show you better. There we go, that's a good picture. The little die cuts of the happy heart snails and the little die cuts of the labels for stamping on, and they coordinate with, of course, the Paper Pumpkin for January. Also, so you know, if you go to my online store and buy Paper Pumpkin kits there, you don't get them immediately. They send them out when they send out the rest of the kits, but you can get celebration rewards but when purchasing Paper Pumpkin on my online store, just so you know. But there's an add-on. I'm excited to see what these are like. Oh, and did I tell you, these are while supply lasts, and they went on sale January 1st. So the while supply lasts makes me a little bit nervous, but I'll be ordering those tomorrow when our catalog kicks off. Now, if you're not familiar with Celebration, it's a good sale. It's Stampin' Up's largest sale of the year, and this year they have it's scheduled for 2 months, and they're going to offer it again later in 2021. So I don't exactly know when, but it's a great time to shop because they reward you for your purchases. If you get together with some friends and you host and get your order up to so much, you get a free stamp set, and if you join, you get some free designer series paper. So Celebration's a good time, and all of this will be on my blog and on my online store tomorrow. So if you need more information, you can check there, or you're always welcome to call me, email me, text me, whatever. And then the sad part is, with all that new stuff coming in, today is the last day of the giant year-end closeout, or in other words, the mini catalog that was August through December. Today's the last day that you can get the items out of there. So there is all my Stampin' Up! Talk, although I'll talk Stampin' Up! The whole time because now we're going to go into Paper Pumpkin. So let me show you what December's Paper Pumpkin kit looked like. Here is the instructions. It has all these instructions, and then on the back it has the coordinating colors and what you get in your kit, and then some more ideas to make your cards. And let me show you, I've done some of the cards. Let me show you what they look like because I think they're really cute. So we got the little bear with the heart, and I did 2 of those. We have the little raccoon with the heart as well. Here I did him with the flowers as I get well. And then here we have the little koala bears with the little cupcake and the hooray, and that's what they look like. So in the kit, you get, of course, the dimensionals. I'm going to set those aside, we'll need those later. A stamp set, Is that not adorable? This says get well soon, you're on my mind, and hooray. And this cute bear. Now I haven't used this group of leaves or the flowers yet, but I'll show you the bear in just a minute. Oh, and then you do get the ink spot every month. This month we got Rich Razzleberry. So there you go. And then of course you get the envelopes. The envelopes were really pretty this month. You get all these little die cuts. So there's the bear and the present and the little background pieces and all the labels that you need. Here's the other die cut pieces for the cards these are the ones I haven't finished yet. And then let me show you too, because let me put these envelopes away. Now, if you noticed, these are the card bases. And now I guess I am what you call a paper snob. Yikes, I hate to call myself that, but I like a really heavy card base. So what I like to do with my card bases, and you'll see that on the picture here, it shows that the bear looks like this. But if you look at my bear card, it has, let me move the envelope so you can see that extra layer back there. And then I use the other side for the inside. So let me just show you real quick how I do that. And I did use Calypso Coral and Rich Razzleberry, just two pieces or two colors in the card kit. And I have a regular card base here. Now this one I just pulled out of my scrap drawer. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Just, you've seen that 100 times. That's your typical card base. And I'm full with my bone folder here. And then I take those card bases that are in the kits. Let me see if I can get you in the camera here. And I might have to shut my window because the glare is coming in here. We'll see how long before I have to get rid of it. So I'm going to cut this down. Now this is the 5.5 side. I'm going to cut it down to 5 1/4. So just take 1/4 of that off this way. And then I'm going to cut this down to 4 inches on this side, and this one down 4 inches on this side. And then I can use those two pieces. The only part that is a waste are these two little strips here. I'm going to throw those in the trash. And then when you take and put those on your cardstock like this, and then like I said, I use this piece on the inside, either this way with the seafoam mist or seafoam, whatever, seaside foam, whatever this color is, or I can turn it over and use the white side. And then that, of course, is how I do my paper pumpkin cards. And I'll be honest with you, when it's cards for paper pumpkin, I don't do much different with the kit. I like what I call non-thinking stamping, because as a demonstrator, every time you see a stamp set, every time you're thinking, okay, now I could turn that into a class and you have to do this, and you just over concentrate on all the stamps to where when paper pumpkin comes, you can just put them together and look how cute they turn out. Anyway, so that's my take on paper pumpkin. But then let me show you. So I was laying in bed this morning and I was thinking, okay, I got all my New Year's Eve cards out. I need to get my thank you cards out to everybody that placed an order with me in the month of December. And I started thinking about that cute little bear in the paper pumpkin kit. And I think bears, suddenly I always go to the buffalo check background stamp. So I came up with this card, and then after a little bit of playing, I decided that I like this card a little bit better. So I'm going to show you how I made this card here. And we're going to start. I'm like I said, I'm making a bunch of them. So first thing I did was I took the stamp set, and I've already put it away, but it doesn't matter, and I stamped it on that little bear with some Memento black ink, just on some crumb cake cardstock. And then, you know me, I took it over to my Scan and Cut, and I had my Scan and cut all these little bears out for all my thank yous. Now, this little bear wouldn't be hard to cut out at all. He's really smooth edges. He doesn't have any little pieces. He would be very easy to cut out. But I want to add some character, so I brought in my crumb cake blends, Stampin' Blends, and I'm going to use the light crumb cake, and I'm going to just color in his little tummy right here, just to give him a little bit of character. I know I say this all the time that I do not like to color. I love to paper craft, but coloring is not my thing. So I like to color as little as possible. Because now you could take the two colors, that's what the blends are all about, and that's why they come in combo packs with the two, the light and the dark, is that you can put shadowing and you can get fancy and make him look really cute. But I'm gonna just color in his tummy and just like that. Now, like I said, this is the light crumb cake, and let me see if I have one colored. I think when he dries, he's gonna be about this color, and this is the dark when it's dry. But anyway, so that's what the tummy of my bears will look like. For the buffalo check, I decided, and I'm gonna try something different with all of you here. As you know, when I use my Stamparatus, I like to use the sticky grid sheets. And now I don't have the pack of them with me here. You can see my other videos to see what sticky grid sheets are. I don't sell them. Stampin' Up! Doesn't offer them. They're by Sizzix, and I get them from the local craft store or on Amazon. And I've cut this one down, and I don't even know what size it is. But I'm going to use and try if I can get the back off. Here we go. The sticky grid sheet. And normally I put it on the top of my Stamparatus grid paper, but this time I'm going to put it right here on the plate of my Stamparatus, because now it's going to hold, make sure I got my paper right, my grid paper right there onto the plate of my Stamparatus, and now that's not going to move. Earlier I was trying to get it and my grid paper kept moving on me, and now it's not going to move. And then I'm going to take another piece of those grid papers. They're called Sticky Grid Paper by Sizzix, and they come in a sheet that I think is like 6 by 9 or something. I don't know. I cut them down to just fit on my Stamparatus under my cardstock, and then I don't have to use my magnets. And I'll show you why. With the, well, I'll tell you, with the big background, you don't want to have the magnets in the way. So I'm using the sticky grid paper, but of course now I can't get it off of my, because it has two. It worked on the last one. We'll get it on this one. Hang on 2 seconds. It's temperamental grid paper right now, because if you weren't watching, I would have had no problems. All right, maybe I lied. Maybe we're not going to get the grid paper on the front of, oh, there, just as I give up. There we go. Thank you, grid paper. And I'm going to just lay this down in the middle. Yep, just like that. Okay. So then I have my pieces cut here. And like I said, I've cut a bunch of them. But I'm going to take one of the black. I know this right here is 3 3/4 by 5, which makes my red piece just 1/4 of an inch smaller. So this must be 3 inches by 4 3/4. But I'm going to lay this down. And now I've already got my buffalo check on my plate here of my Stamparatus. If you're not familiar with the Stamparatus, there's tons of videos out there on YouTube. You can even check my channel, Be Creative with Kathy. I have some videos on how to use the Stamparatus, but it's a great positioning tool for your stamping. And let me see if I close that. Am I going to see my red paper? No, it's I'm going to move it over just one more little square. So make sure it's nice and covered by my stamp. But anyway, so you make sure to check those videos to see how great the Stamparatus is. And then with just some Memento black ink, I'm going to ink up my buffalo check here. And I'm going to try to get it inked up the first time so I don't have to stamp it again. And the buffalo check is not, it's not a perfection stamp. It's kind of like a rugged stamp. I'm going to call it that. So it might not be perfect even if it's inked up completely. But if any of that makes sense, then you've been watching my videos too long, or you know me too well, because sometimes I talk nonsense. But see how I missed this corner here? I'm going to go ahead and lay it down again Really, it wasn't a corner, it was the edge. And apply some pressure. It's because of this hinge here that I need to apply more pressure over here. Let's see about now. There, now I think that looks pretty good. Now, if I wasn't happy, let's say I'm not happy, I could go ahead and ink it up again, because none of my paper here has moved and my stamp hasn't moved because it's stuck here to this plate. But I could ink it up again and then stamp that down. And I look like I'm pressing really hard, but I don't need to press that hard. I need to put more ink on there. And then one more on this side. A little bit of pressure there, and there we go. So now I have it a little bit darker. So I'm happy there. I'm going to take this off. I'm going to try not to get, now my grid paper's coming with, there it is. Leave my grid paper on there. And then I could just stick the next one on there and go again. But I'm going to take this out of the way. I have my grid paper all done. I'm going to adhere that. Let me try to find some seal here. To this black paper. You know, and since it's curving a little bit, I'm going to put a little bit more on there. There we go. Lay this on here. And then I have a thick Whisper White card base. So this is just 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I'm going to fold on that score line, get a nice crisp fold there, a little bit adhesive on the back of the black here. Excuse me, adhesive, there we go. There for a minute, I didn't think my adhesive was listening as I was going to put adhesive on there, but then it caught up. Okay, and then center that there. So far, so cute, right? So then I brought in the largest of the scalloped layering oval die and the largest of the circle oval. This is the circle from the shaped frame or stitched shapes like this. And then I found this little heart here from the Be Mine stitched framelits. There's a bunch of hearts in there, as you can see. It's kind of a mess, but this heart tend to work really well because it's kind of pointy at the bottom and not quite as round. But I'm going to use all of those, bring in one of my bears. Now, when I put low oval on oval on oval, try to say that. I can't even say it once. But then again, have you ever heard me talk on videos? I never make any sense. Whoops. But I like to use liquid glue because I think ovals are the hardest things to line up. And maybe that's just my problem, but whatever, I'm going to use the liquid glue. So then I can take my oval and kind of just move it around until it looks pretty centered. I think about like that. And then with just some adhesive on the back of my oval. I'm going to lay that right here in the center of my card. And I think it's crooked. Maybe just a little bit. There we go. And then I have here's the dimensionals from the paper pumpkin kit. And I'll tell you what, look at these dimensionals. Have you ever seen dimensionals that big? Love these. Maybe now we need to sell standard dimensionals, mini dimensionals, and Kungamunga are super big. Anyway, haha. Okay, so we take the backs off of those, and then I'm gonna take and put my little teddy bear right here on the front. Now, I know this has dried because I'm gonna put a couple glue dots on the back of my heart, and if this is wet with the alcohol from the Stampin' Blend, the glue dot's not gonna stick, so I gotta make sure that I have this dry. And then just a couple glue dots on my heart, and I'm gonna stick it down just like that. Isn't that not adorable? Look how fast and cute. Now I did used a bunch of different die sets, but I think it's really cute. And instead of the oval, you could just cut a square. You could punch a heart out of anything that you have. But then I'm not finished because now I wanted to send this as a thank you to everybody who has ordered from me. But I wanted to do give them the option to make it a Valentine card. So I went looking through my past paper pumpkin kits because I needed a Valentine stamp. And I went all the way back to the year 2019. And look here, the January Be Mine Valentine had the perfect little Valentine stamps. I don't know if you can see it, but I went ahead and mounted that up, used that stamp set on a block here, and I have all the scraps from where I cut those ovals, and I'm going to just ink it up with some Memento. And stamp it down here. Let that ink sink in. You can't even see I'm off the screen there. Now I'm back on. Looks like that. Look how cute that Happy Valentine stamp is. That's why you got to keep those stamp sets organized somehow so you can find them when you need a stamp set. Paper pumpkin stamp sets are great. Then I'm going to just take my classic label punch and punch that out like that. And I'll include that in with my thank you card so they can turn it into a Valentine card if they want to. And then I am going to leave the inside blank so they can either stamp in there or they could write in there or whatever they want. They could have it non-Valentine. They could add the Valentine and make it into a Valentine. But that's their gift from me for ordering with me in December. So that's what I have for you today. If you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I would love to be your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You might want to give Paper Pumpkin a try. It's a great kit that comes to your door every month. So there you go. That's all I got. Hopefully I'll see you back here again on Friday and I'll have another card for you. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.